if the divorce rate is as high as it is, and the people that stay married are unhappy, then we have to be honest about there's something there that says is there's not as much commitment as we want to admit. Is that a fair statement, or did I pull that out my ass, or is that extreme?
And that's what me and Sharon are saying. Me and Sharon are saying we put the commitment first,
but
before we put our selfish desires first.
I'm not talking about you and Sharon. I'm talking about in general. Why are you talking about
But we're talking about the other side that other people don't actually hear. We're talking about.
I heard that, but I'm saying that I hear what you all are saying, and there's truth in what you're saying. I'm not negating that, but what I'm saying, you can't negate the truth in it.
We're not negating anything.
No, you are. Nobody else is. You are.
No, we're not negating that these happen. We're not saying that. What we're saying is we're not looking at those things as work. We're not looking at these
I'm not talking about that. What you're refuting what I'm saying, but for some reason you don't realize you're refuting what I'm saying. But then you're saying you're not refuting it, and then you're bringing it back to what you're saying. I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not talking about what you're saying. I'm saying what I'm saying.
I'm confused as to why you're listing all the negatives of marriage. We're not trying to list the negatives of marriage. So we're trying to find the good in marriage. You're making it seem as though all of these instances make marriage palatable.
You know why? Because Granville is my young homie, and I want Granville to understand the truth. I want him to understand both sides. I think we have to be honest about the realities of two humans coming together.
But we're not.
I'm okay, but I'm talking. You're not talking about that. I'm talking about that. I'm saying the beautiful things exist, yes. But Granville, this is what you need to. For me, a person whose daughter is 17 is going to be and who's going to be married, maybe within 10 years. Who knows? I want to give her the reality. All of these beautiful things exist, but look, let me tell you what also exists. You need to be aware of this, and I want you to temper your expectations, because sometimes we go in expecting perfection from imperfect beings, and that's not realistic. Why would we lead people astray? Let's tell them all of the things and let them go in with all of the information they need, because we can paint a rosy picture all the fuck we want to. But those of us who are married or who have been married, you know how the fuck it is when you're in that household and you hate that person. You got resentment. You love them, but you got so much resentment and you don't want to see their face. You want to sleep in a different room. And for a week, you all don't talk. We know what it is to have to go to counseling. So
that's too real.
The beautiful stuff exists, but we have to paint the whole picture. Exactly. I'm not negating anything you all said that's beautiful, because I agree with it all. I'm just saying that this duality exists.
I got a question for y'all. It's going to seem like it's off topic, but trust me, it's on topic. Do you see anything negative about eating healthy?
No, nothing at all.
Do you see anything negative about working out to improve your health?
Nothing at all.
No.
And that is all I'm saying. If you are constantly improving, and if you are constantly
it doesn't involve another person. That doesn't involve another person. That involves you.
I promise I promise you'll get a chance to talk. And you could disagree all you want to. What I'm saying is that, so we do have things that we talk about in 98% positivity if you're doing it correctly, because it is some negative things that you could say we're working out. You could lift too hard too soon and you could injure yourself, right? It's injury when you're working out. That is a negative connotation that you could put in the ideology of working out, right? So I even gave y'all one. So you could work out to the point where you injure yourself. Most people that work out for their lifetime, they injure themselves. Most marathon runners, basketball players, blah, 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 they injure themselves. That is something negative within working out. However, most people look at eating healthy, working out, and building a body up as a positive thing. And all I'm saying is that, yes, be aware of all the things that can happen to you. I'm never going to negate that. However, we got to have a conversation on it where we are building people. Because if you build people up, both sides, men and women, they will be able to navigate together and put effort towards a relationship. And that's what we need them to do, put effort in a relationship, because that means they are determined and attempting to build a relationship instead of working and saying, this is what I have to do, and make it seem like it's slavery. Most people look at submission as slavery. Most people looking at this thing as, they say all these words like, oh, we're going to have to sleep in separate bedrooms. We're gonna have to do this. What if this person cheat? What if that person turns into a crackhead? It turns into too many negative things. So we got to start giving a positive outlook on the positive things. Marriage is not a negative thing. Human beings can be negative, and therefore those human beings should not be married in a first. They should not be in any kind of relationship. Is the real issue that we are seeing. That's what's really going on. I want Otis to get in there, jump in there. Eso, I want to join him into it, and I also want to join Omni, etc. into it as well. Go ahead, Otis.
And I'm gonna land the plane quick. I agree with everything that you said. I really do. I just want to add this one caveat to it, and I want to use your analogy. Working out is a positive thing. So if someone sees my physique, they see this nice bicep and the little tricep under there, they see it. Damn, what you do to get that? I'm gonna let them know what I did. But I'm also let them know is there is a possibility that you could pull your muscle. There is a possibility that that dumbbell is gonna fall and break your toe and you're gonna be out of commission for 2 or 3 weeks. It's a possibility. So all I'm saying is I'm going to tell the person about the beautiful things of marriage. Of course I am. But I'm going to also tell you that it's a possibility that you're going to go through a dry spell and you're going to get through that though. You're going to get through it, but it's possible. That's all we saying. It's not all guns and roses. It's not. Every now and then you're going to have an issue that you got to overcome, and you will overcome it. That's all we saying. I'm not saying it's going to be all glory and all roses every day. That's a lie.
I got a question. I got a question. I just want to make sure I understand it perfectly because I want to make sure I didn't miscommunicate. So this is just a question. Did you not hear me say that you could get injured, and I gave you that as a fact that working out you could get injured? I just want to make sure.
Yes, you did, but you don't stress that. No, don't stop that. Don't do that. Don't do me like that. You don't stress that part. Yes, you said it, but you don't stress it. And that's all I'm saying. You don't stress it like it doesn't exist. But yes, for the record, you did say it. You glanced over it. You don't stress it.
Perfect. So as long as I said it, I just want to make sure it wasn't a communication barrier because sometimes it seems like y'all act like I don't say it at all.
You can put it in the fine print.
And then, but so what I'm saying is, if I'm talking about being vegan, right? I'm talking about being vegan. If I'm talking about eating the steak and how it should be cooked, I'm talking about that.
Sharon, can I test what you just said, right?
What I'm saying is, if you got somebody who's eating vegan with you, you don't want them calling it rabbit food or downplaying it or making it seem like, oh, you eating vegetables again, dang, or anything like that. You want somebody who's on that same page with you. Same thing with a workout. You want a workout partner. That's that whole marriage thing. It's people out here who not picking the right partners, I think. And that's why they say, oh, the dating pool is trash and all that, because you picking somebody who got a BBL, who don't even have real muscles, or you're
trash and don't realize.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't even work out to get that body. You get what I mean? They cheated. So you want somebody who's not a cheater.
That's a very good point. Sean wanted to test something.
Yeah, Sharon, let me see. Let me see this, right? Because I know you're in the construction field, right? So say for me, right? So say for instance, if I was interested in getting into that field, so I don't have any expertise on that. So I would come to you, but I don't need you to just tell me the rosy shit. I need you to tell me where you stumble. I need you to tell me how. I need you to help me not lose money. So for me, like I always talk about how on my first store, I lost money. Like the first year I wrote off like $35,000. Now that's not a lot to, whatever the case may be, but it's still money. It was my money. It's not a loan. You know what I'm saying? I lost $35,000 or whatever the case may be. Now I got the money back, whatever the case may be, but I still lost that. So if Granville was opening the store, I'm going to make sure I tell Granville, look, this is how you avoid these exact fucking things because you putting your money into it. And I'd rather you not have to take that lesson that I had to take. I'd rather it not cost you what it cost me. Well, we all agree that makes sense.
Yes. So that was the question, or
yes,
you built it. So perfect. And that's why I do not look at it as work. I look at it as you got to have steps to ensure that you are doing things in the right and proper manner, because I went through all of the failure. So this way I'm just giving you the steps to go through to move forward and be successful. When you go and deal with a coach is telling you all the steps that you need to take to be successful in anything that you do. If you want to shoot a jump shot, for example, so we can take on something that everybody could do, they take the steps. You need to bend your knees, put like this, square up with the rim, elbow to the rim, release with one hand, fingers spread. Those are all steps. And this is what all I'm saying that we got to do as married people is tell people what is the steps to be successful. If you just follow the steps to be successful, you know anything outside of those steps could be a positive, negative.
I agree with you on that. But and you know what?
I'm saying, because enough people, because enough people is telling us all the other shit.
But look, part of the steps,
most of the people, that's like Shaquille O'Neal teach you how to shoot a goddamn 3-point. No, I'm going to Steph Curry.
Well, anybody look now, Sharon, did you play basketball growing up? Anybody up here play basketball?
I did.
Look, now back in our day, bro, what did we tell the big man when the big man got the ball? Nigga, they'll say squeeze the ball, hold the ball above your head, don't put it on the ground, pass it to somebody who can dribble. That's part of the steps to me. Part of the steps is telling me what missteps to avoid. Nigga, you can't dribble. You put the ball on the ground, somebody is going to take that ball from you. Don't put the ball on the ground because you're big and you can't dribble. So I agree with everything you said, though. Real talk.
I really appreciate that, because that's the part that I think we are missing. People do not want to talk about the steps, because now big men are dribbling because they took the steps to learn how to dribble. And so now they know how to cross.
Good point.
They know how to do it because they took the steps and people see the work. Oh, now we can give it. And it's all about the step taking. And people are trying to just misstep everything to say, oh, I like you, you like me, let's get married. Y'all didn't put no steps, no effort into determining your attempts to build a successful relationship. That's why I want to use the word effort and not the word work. Work does not really fit in the word marriage, because both parties are willing to build up the relationship. It's not a have to. I want to be with you. She wants to be with me. And we are putting effort into this relationship to keep building and do it for as long as we want to. It's effort, not work. And I also want to bring in Taz exclusive to the show. Go ahead, Omni, etc. What is your thoughts?
I think you hit the nail on the head just now when you said effort and not work, because work ensures outcome. Effort, you may not get everything that you worked for. So I think people want guarantees in marriage. I think a lot of people have been, and I know this is going to sound wild, but this is me. A lot of people have been coddled in a way by systems that have been put in place off of the shoulders of former generations. Like the fact that you have a paycheck coming to you every single time that you put in effort. Well, somebody had to work, and they didn't even see the payoff of that thing. You know what I'm saying? I think the systems that we take advantage of every single day in our lives has given us the mentality of, okay, yeah, this is guaranteed. The truth is, when you get to the bare bones in life, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. And it took a while for me to understand that about marriage, is that, you know, you could be with a person for an extended number of years. You can be with a person for an extended number of years. However, you know, one day they can just up and say, I don't want to do this anymore. And you're going to have to be cool with that. Now, are you going to have to, I tell people all the time that you're going to have to search within first. You're going to have to search within first and see and ask yourself this one question. And this is what I ask of myself every time I step into a new situation with anything, business, partnership deal, what have you. Am I built for this? Am I ready for this? Can I take this on? The downsides of this, can I be impacted by the downside of this and still be okay on the other side? And I think people need to look at marriage from that perspective.
Thank you. Also, Taz exclusive, what are your thoughts? You're on mute if you're there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we get you now.
Okay, so I just use what Otis and Omni said and put it together, right? So when Otis said that we need to hear more of it, I don't disagree. But the part of the problem that happens is what Omni is talking about. So if you pay attention to a lot of these conversations, it really ain't the married people that people want to hear from. I've been telling people since I came on YouTube, nigga, I ain't never had these crybaby ass issues that y'all had. And because I'm not willing to coddle, hold hands, it becomes, well, you rare. You found one of those lucky women and blah, blah, blah. It becomes more like I found the perfect woman as opposed to the man hitting the mirror and saying, I can keep her for I can get her. So I'm saying it to say, I don't disagree with really either one of y'all in totality, but I do think it's harder when you're the person that has somebody and saying, well, look, my shit's straight. I'm just trying to get y'all some advice. Y'all the niggas that's failing. Y'all the ones crying. You know what I'm saying? It begins to get negative at some point. You know what I mean?
You still there? He probably got a phone call.
Yeah, no, I was done. I just, you know what I'm saying? I was just trying to make sure we understand that at some point you become the success story talking to people who want to get where you at and you're trying to get them there, but it's their life experience that ain't getting them there. So the only real thing you can tell them is nigga, get in the mirror. And they don't want to hear that.
I get that point. Yeah. I see that to a certain degree. Yep. I agree. I got you.
And I've said this time and time again about a bunch of men. Just real quick, Sharon. I said this time and time again about a bunch of men, especially men that come from single mother households. You know what I'm saying? No, because he brought up the mirror, and this is something that I've had to do coming from a single mother household.
Me too. Yeah.
When you get in that mirror, you got to beat the dog shit out of the bitch that was installed in you. You have to beat the dog shit until it can't breathe anymore, until there is no life in it. Because, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times dudes want to go around the outcomes of the choices that they make. They want to get around, and it is really human nature not wanting to endure the consequences of your own actions. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people want to obfuscate the consequences of their own actions, but there's no way around it, especially when you're in a marriage, because you have somebody dependent on you. Now you have real world responsibilities to another person before the children come into place. And then when the children come into place, you have responsibilities to that child or those children. And you are the linchpin, you're the foundation, you are the setter of the tone for everything that happens in that situation. So you can't really you can't really afford to step into any situation like, okay, I'm gonna just get this off and then I'm gonna try to avoid the consequences. No. You're gonna have to calculate the consequences in advance.
Awesome. Great. You have to calculate.
About to be a situation.
Shout out to Daryl Long, Sip Nation. The black woman is God.
I agree with that.
Doesn't mean you have to worship her, but yes, she is.
There you go. See, there you go.
I disagree strongly. Worship
your woman.
Worship her?
Worship your woman.
No, I disagree with the black woman being God. Jesus Christ is Lord.
American Negro with the 10 ball. He said, if you truly desire a successful marriage, I recommend marriage counseling before getting married or engaged, because it lets everybody know what they are expected to do within a marriage.
Correct.
It needs to be out there on the floor. We need to lay everything out. This is why they say what you bring to the table, because the talking term is lay everything out on the table,
right,
and shake out all the chips and see if y'all all agree with the things that's on the table. It's not actually what you bring and what I bring. It's really more about what we expect out of this thing. That's what you putting on the table. Not, oh, I have laughter and you have anger.
Can I give y'all a scenario and you tell me how the marriage should have went if I give you a scenario? Okay. Quick scenario, right? Okay. Early in my marriage, I think I told someone this, but early in my marriage, my husband was a correctional officer. And every time he would come home and he would be rah, rah, rah. Because with that kind of job, you have to be rah, 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 right? So every time he would come home from that job, and he'd come home and bring that rah 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 home, I would leave. I would just go and disappear for 4 hours. I wouldn't argue. I was just so hurt that I would just disappear. Go to the bookstore, wouldn't come back for hours at a time. And that happened for about 4 or 5 times, right? And then once I came home one time, my husband was like, why do you keep disappearing every time I do that, right? And in my mind, that was the way I was trying to salvage being married. Because if I went rah, rah, rah with him back to him, the marriage probably would not have lasted. It probably would have been destroyed from what I would have said. So I'm saying in that scenario, I showed my selfishness not to communicate with my husband. My husband showed his selfishness by not understanding that he presented that rah, 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 and I was not a person that took well to being rah, rah, rah at, right? 2 totally individual human beings who are being selfish in their way. But I recognized that I did not want to destroy the marriage. So my only way of dealing with that was to disappear. And once we started talking, once he said, why the hell do you keep disappearing? I sat him down and I said, because I don't want the marriage to end, and I can see it ending if you continue to treat me this way. Now, I'm asking the panel, what kind of commitment? Was that a commitment that I should have kept? What did I do wrong? What did I do right? Etc.
Can I please go first?
Go ahead.
I remember you gave that story about a couple of days ago. You were on this panel. The one part that you did leave out, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that carried on for like a year or 2, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. In my opinion, the end result was perfect. You eventually sat down and you guys communicated and you worked it out. That's perfect. The only thing that I would disagree with, and it's just my opinion, it went too long without being discussed. I know it's easier said than done.
Selfish on my part.
I'm sorry?
It was selfishness on my part.
Yes.
I was scared to talk to him.
Yes, and you did say that. But what I'm saying, I'm not going to put all the onus on you because I'm not going to say that. But my situation, if I come home from work and I got a bad attitude and I haven't decompressed, yes, that's part of my fault. That's my fault. I should have took care of that. But just in case I didn't, the significant other should be aware of that and help de-escalate that thick tension some way, somehow. That's all I'm saying. It shouldn't be all on her, but she should have something to contribute to de-escalate and then talk about it much sooner. But you did it correctly. It took 2 years, but the end result was you did communicate. Now let me tie this all in. I'm gonna land my plane. You went through all that. To me, I don't want to use this word. I'm not gonna bring it up again. It wasn't work, but it was effort that you was putting into it. It wasn't rosy. It wasn't pretty, but you got on the other side, and I commend you for it.
But you see how I could have walked away from that marriage
easily, and that's what most people do. And most people in that situation would have walked away. You are 100% correct. So I agree with Sharon. That's why I say we're saying the same thing. We're just going to take their word out of it. It's good because we got past all that mess. We can look past it. Oh, that shit was easy. I mean, not easy, but it's not a bad thing. We got through it. I get what he's saying. I just don't want to just brush over it because it took something to get through that. My plane has landed.
Okay. Somebody give me another. Somebody give me another take on it.
Hey, Taz, you there? Go ahead.
I literally just walked back in, bro. What up?
So, what is your thoughts? So, the scenario is this: a woman, she's at home. Her husband is he's in law enforcement, and when he come home, he's still carrying the law enforcement attitude within the house, screaming, yeah, being very assertive and aggressive towards somebody that didn't do anything to him. The woman now leaves the house every time that happens. She go to she's not cheating. She goes to like the library, a movie, somewhere where he is not there, and this happens for 2 years. So now the question is, what's the question at the end, HQ?
My question is, me being in my selfish attitude and him being in his selfish attitude, we were trying to work around each other in a marriage. I left the house because I didn't want to end the marriage, right? But it was selfish on my part to just walk out. But I'm saying it's a scenario of people, something that somebody would end a marriage over, right? Because by rights, a lot of people will walk out and not come back, right? But I decided that I wanted that commitment to this particular person because I saw other things that would build a future with this person beyond that. If we could get past that, but I didn't know that as a young 23-year-old person being married, that we had to talk, that we had to actually communicate. And so that's how I responded to a problem in a marriage, is to leave until I understood that was not working, right? So I'm saying, what should I have done? Was that a correct measure that I did? But was it a selfish thing, or would someone have left the husband, left the marriage?
Okay, so this is what I'll say. You have to be happy with your results, because another scenario would be that was a gateway into whooping your ass. And I'm just be honest with you. And what I mean by that is you're explaining verbal abuse. That verbal abuse translates into physical abuse. And that's common, it's normal. What you were able to do was avoid that downslide that continues into physical abuse. So that's my argument for you would be proud of who you are. And really, I think if you look around, it could end either way. It could be where you are, which is happy, move forward in it, or it could have been the other way, where that was the gateway into the negative side, where now it's a physically abusive relationship where you're unhappy, you're trying to escape, and you can't. There's a lot of legs on the other side of that conversation.
Very interesting point of view, right? That's the beauty of letting everybody talk, right? Because we all interpret the same situation differently, because we all have different. That's completely different. I don't think nobody else would even have that even ideology or point of view to even look into that side of how it can escalate to something completely different. And luckily that it has not. I want to also welcome Ronald 804, because he might not have that much time because he's usually not in his car. What's up, Ron? And there you go. Internet. Go ahead, Issa. I see you hopped off. Go ahead, Issa.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was gonna let Ron go. I don't know if he heard, but yeah. So I was gonna say exactly what Taz was saying. 1 in 3, I think, is the number of law enforcement agency people who work in law enforcement involved in domestic DV.
I did.
I did. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We also American Nigga. We all answered it too as well. We all addressed it and we all announced it. Maybe you had just clocked off, but we did address your super chat. Go ahead, Issa.
But yeah. Also, people in the chat saying you're supposed to disarm him with your feminine whatever. I kind of agree if that's something that is viable. Only she knows, because it's her relationship. And at the end of the day, beginning of the day, sometimes people ignore the red flags in the beginning, like before you even got married, because she said something about how, she saw other things in him, like as if to say, there were, that's one thing, like she realized, okay, she's not dealing with, so she'll walk out. But there's other things, that she saw that was in him.
I was very avoidant. I was very avoidant at the beginning of this marriage. I avoided negative things. I avoided those kind of things because feminine wiles doesn't that feminine. I just never thought to use that. So you can't use feminine wiles that's not a solution to those kind of things when it happens in a marriage. Sex is not always, and to me, sex is not the answer to solving a problem. It's just not for me. And so for me to avoid, I didn't want to get into a physical confrontation with my husband because he was that rah type. And I understood the danger and the violence of this person and what they could be. But I knew he loved me, but I also understood that job had an effect on him. So in order for me to deal with that, I had to automatically leave. Just leave, avoid it, and then he'll be calm when I get back, and then we'll talk somehow, some way, right? So I was avoiding. I was a lousy wife. Lousy in the beginning. The only thing I knew was being married and being committed. That's all I knew. Being married and being committed. I didn't know the ins and outs because that doesn't come. I just didn't know. I'm the first person to say I was a lousy wife at the beginning of this marriage because I didn't know his needs and I didn't know my needs, but I was committed to this marriage. I was committed to this person and I wanted to be there. So in order to avoid something that would make it blow up and bleed nuclear and it would be over, I avoided a lot of things until he just stopped me in my tracks one day and say, "What the fuck are you doing? Why do you keep leaving? Why do you leave for 4 hours? Why do you keep disappearing? Why do you do that?" And I said, I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want you to say the wrong thing. I don't want to end this marriage. I want to commit to this marriage.
Heathen Queen.
But be separate.
Commit, but be
not around each other, but still together.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I knew escalation was a definite thing that could happen. I did not want it to escalate.
Right. So what HQ is saying is what pretty much what Taz was saying, that is it starts off verbally abusive and then it can escalate into a physical thing. That's what Taz was talking about as well. He's saying how it could have escalated and it didn't. And it's partially because she was leaving, so it won't escalate. But what she really is saying and trying to communicate that she was being lousy because she wasn't communicating. Because once they was able to sit down and communicate, he understood and she understood, and then that's how they was able to move the marriage forward. The reason why we even got into this conversation is also because of American Negroes super chat about what they're counseling, and because counseling is effectively communication, leaving things on the table, putting everything on the table and have a conversation about all the pieces that is on the chessboard. And we say, hey, this is how we're going to move and arrange and we're going to build forward. So that's how we got to this part of the conversation. Britt, we're going to bring in Otis, and I also want to bring in Ronald right after so he could join the conversation as well.
I want to, first of all, I want to say this. Great, and I respect your self-reflection within your marriage. Great reflection and in great accepting of accountability. Big. My question to you is, Heathen Queen, did your husband accept his part in that situation? I'm assuming he did, but did he accept it, and how willing was he able to accept that for you guys to move on in your marriage?
Well, once he grabbed me and, he grabbed my attention and said, sit down and explain to me why you're leaving. I said to him, I don't want this marriage to end. You're being intolerable to me. I need you to not be intolerable to me because I want to stay. I want to be your wife. Mm-hmm. First thing he said was, I apologize.
Okay.
See, I understand. He said, I understand, but this job is so stressful to me. Right. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I understand now that it has been going on for so long. I understand, but you cannot take that out on me. You have to decompress from that. Right. So I realized that I needed to leave him alone. And we agreed when he came in the door, he would do something else before he addressed it. He would let me know he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Before he came to me, he would take that off. You know, he would take the armor off.
Right.
And then address me in a better way. I understand. I avoided all of that shitty ass wife. I'm the first one to admit it.
I'm saying that, but I get your point. I don't like when you say that about yourself, but I get your point. You taking your responsibility, but don't say use a shitty ass wife.
I think that's perfect. And I also want to bring in Ronald 804. Thank you, HQ. That is such an important dialogue. Go ahead.
Hey,
Ronald.
what's up, everyone? I'm out visiting by my mother-in-law right now, but I was like, I saw the conversation that you guys had a few days ago, so I was like, let me jump in and say my view. First of all, I gotta give a shout out. First of all, shout out to everybody in the panel, and I gotta give a shout out to Otis and his wife. I'm a big fan of you guys now. After your wife came in and say, what they care about our marriage for, right? I'm a big fan, so that's how it is. Everybody's not going to understand your marriage. As long as you and your wife understand it, that's the most important. Everybody, I know some of the girls was like, I would never do that. Well, Otis is not for you. That's the reason why that woman is for Otis. So God bless you and your wife, and wish you guys many more years.
Yes.
When it comes to Heathen Queen, when I heard what she said 3 days ago or something like that, the first thing that popped into my head is this man had a stressful day, and now he came home, and now she's gone for 4 hours. Now he has to take care of the kids. Now that she's gone, and she said that he even got to get his food and all that stuff. Me personally, I'm not a runner. I have. There's never been a time where me and my wife got into an argument that I'm like, I'm out of here. Me personally, if we got to go to the other side of the house, I'd rather do that until we cool off than to like, okay, I'm gone. That's almost like, because if you was in a marriage, for example, if your husband grew up with some kind of abandonment, when you do that adds on to the abandonment. That you just, okay, I'm gone for 4 hours.
Wow.
So, but I'm happy that you're willing to accept, your part of it, of the situation. But like me personally, even when it comes to like my parents, I always tell them, I don't know how long you guys have on this earth. My parents are in their 70s now. I told them, if I'm upset with you, there's never going to be a time where you call me on the phone and I don't pick up the phone, because that is one less time I get to talk to you. But unfortunately, I know your husband passed away. So if you count up all those 4 hours, all those hours that you left, those are hours that you didn't get a chance to spend time with him. If you're looking back now, I hate to put it that way.
Yes.
I hate to be, I hope I don't come off as harsh, but those are hours that you didn't get a chance to spend with your husband. Looking back right now.
Before you answer HQ, because I think it is sentimental, and so you probably will look at it and understand what he's saying. However, what I was saying, when we talk to the greater audience, it sounds crazy that you say that. For her to say that she missed hours of them arguing or being in turmoil. What they did was exactly what they needed for their relationship. She had to leave so they could get into communication, because neither one of them was prepared for the communication piece yet. So her leaving actually built their marriage up the way how it needs to be. And that's why it was able to extend for the amount of years that it is. So we got to be very careful with how we using time. So she had to leave so they could get to the part where they had to communicate, because the communication was missing at that juncture in their life particular. So no, you cannot use that as a frame of you could get some time back. No, everything happens for a reason. You got to go. And this is why we got to be careful. That's why we got to say it takes effort, because everything that you go through within your marriage, it was needed for your marriage to move forward. So that was an obstacle they had to get over, and it's something that she could self-reflect on. And now with her going through that self-reflection, now she could give that on to other people. It's somebody in this audience, because we got 94 people here. So we got somebody that heard that and say, I'm going to look at things differently when I'm having a poor communication, the way how he walks in the house and he's talking about he need to decompress, and he's not realizing he's taking his stress from the outside world and bringing it into the house. So that's why her story is important. Not because it's missed time. No, it's because it was a learned lesson.
Yeah, this all is a learned lesson. Like I said, I didn't want to come off harsh, but like I said, when I heard it a few days ago, That's the first thing that popped into my head, because I always think about time, how valuable time is, and we have no idea. That's why, like, in my life, that's why I always tell people, I'm never going to be the one where, dang, why Ronald ain't pick up the phone, because I never want to be the one where, dang, somebody's gone and I never had that chance to to fix things or something like that. So I didn't want to, that's why I told her I didn't want to come off as harsh, but that's the first thing I thought of, because that's something that's always in my mind when it comes to never waste my time. Time is very valuable. You don't know how long this person has on earth. So when you get a chance to fix things, fix things. I'm happy that they were able to eventually fix things, but that's the most important thing. Anybody got anything else to say?
No, yeah. I just think that you just gotta be careful about how you present time, because that was a very dangerous way to present time.
I'm not even go there. Wow, I'll leave that alone.
It is a very dangerous way how he presented time just now.
I'd like to respond to HQ's situation.
Yes, go ahead. Just keep the conversation going. Go ahead.
Absolutely. HQ, I don't think you should beat yourself up as much as you are about the steps that you take. A lot of men don't really understand that femininity is the exact opposite of masculinity. So in my view, you were moving as a feminine woman should. You were moving in response to stimuli, and that stimuli was his aggression. See, in a marriage, it's going to call, and this is what I had to understand, because I've actually studied marriage because I want to be married, but I want to do it the right way, as opposed to just stumbling over, instead of just stumbling over my feet every step of the way. So it called in a marriage, what's required of you is things that you're probably not accustomed to. I'm speaking from the male perspective as a man. Men are, in order to get our way, a lot of times in life, we tap into aggression. We use aggression because we have more of a laser focus. We're more tunnel vision, whereas women tend to take in a lot of perspectives and look at a lot of different things. We tend to be laser focused, especially when we're talking about things like finances. I think you moved as a feminine woman should in that situation, because as Taz pointed out, the only other thing would be to attack that head on, and you might actually have ended up hurt going against your man's aggression. I think you did appropriate, because you leaving the house, a man eventually is going to have to ask himself, well, why is she doing this?
Who told you? Hey, can anybody hear me right now?
Sherry, we can hear you, but you'll have to give us a minute. We'll call on you, and you could go on your little rant that you want to, but not right now. Let Omni finish. We're gonna go Omni, we're gonna go Wild Heart, and then we're gonna allow you to do your rant, and then go ahead, Omni.
All right. So I think HQ, you moved as exactly as you should as a woman, because that would, as the man that values you, would cause me to go, why is she doing this? Every time I express myself, she is walking out of the room. Now he has to figure out a different way to express himself. And he probably hasn't ever done that before. He's probably, because depending on his rank, depending on his in his job, especially, the police are quote unquote, they like to say the police are quote unquote militarized nowadays. So, in the military, it's a lot of giving orders, receiving orders, and that's it. So he was probably giving you orders in an aggressive manner or dictating certain things in the household, and you were not responding to it in the way that he wanted it to be responded to, which probably amped up his aggression even further. You leaving and you having the option to leave, now he doesn't know what to do with that situation. Now he has to open up a line of communication. Now he has to talk to you about it, because he now has to realize that you're just not a soldier to be taking orders. you're a person in this marriage that, you know what I'm saying, y'all have to work through this together. So I think you did exactly what you were supposed to do. I'm sorry that it didn't work out at the end, but I think you did exactly what you were supposed to do in the situation by leaving, because I don't suggest women. I don't suggest.
She didn't leave the relationship.
No. Oh, y'all still married? Are they?
Yeah,
still married?
he wound up passing away. That's the only reason why she's not married.
Oh, okay.
We're married for 30 years. We're 30 plus years after that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, salute to
that's
that.
Why that's why she brought the conversation in, because she was saying she would have been justified to leave with those 2 tough years of the aggression that he was walking through the door with.
Well, no, forget what I said. You a soldier for real. If y'all had 30 years of marriage after that, you know what I'm saying? But no, you did what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to leave. You weren't supposed to stay in a tumultuous situation. Now, you didn't leave the marriage. Thank God, and salute to your 30 plus years. Anybody that makes it that far, I salute. Anybody that makes it past 10, past double digits period, I salute them. But you moved as a woman should in order to get him to respond in the manner that he should, because now it's not about holding you in place and you just taking direction from him in an aggressive manner. Now he has to consider how am I getting my message across? I'm gonna have to find other means to get my message across. The one thing that I hate about DV situations, the number one thing that I hate about DV situations, I'm about to land it, is that women stay and take the abuse. That's the number one thing that I dislike about DV situations. And they're always looking towards that time that he was so good. They're trying to find that time that he was such a good guy to them when in the courtship, that now that they deal with the reality of him, they are looking for that time back. Now, you have to leave when someone is being abusive and aggressive to you, because you're not a man. You're not going to be able to fight him back when
Absolutely
they get to fighting. So yeah, I think you did the correct thing, and it shows in your 30 years of marriage.
Absolutely. I also want to welcome Wild Heart Resurrected, and then we're gonna go to the beautiful and always intelligent, and she always have her great points, Sherry Berry, after Wild Heart Resurrected. After Wild Heart Resurrected, you are next, Sherry Berry.
Yeah, you won't have to wait long. Yeah, I'm just getting into the conversation, so I'll listen for a bit before I make any comments. But thanks for having me on, and great to see you.
What up, out the mud, Cody? What it do? Welcome to the show. What it do, big dog?
Man, shit, what good with y'all, big dog? Y'all good on the good, beautiful Saturday morning, big dog?
Yes, sir. What's your thought?
Man, on as far as what, big dog?
Anything, whatever, what you got on your mind for the show so far? What's on your mind? What triggered you? What didn't trigger you? What you want to talk about? What you don't want to talk about? What's on your mind?
Oh well, I think like as far as like damn, I forget my girl name, Miss HQ. What Miss HQ was saying, and what Ronald was saying as far as the time. I think he left out the fact that her husband being the man coming home bringing problems, issues from the job, allowing that to dictate how he operate with his wife within his household for the first hour, 2 hours of coming home. What's to say for that time? Ain't that time just as valuable as the 4 hours she leave and allow him time to decompress to himself? Time that he probably needed.
Well, I don't know about no decompression.
Is that a question for me?
Yes, I do. I know about it.
We're gonna see the way I got you, Sherry. Let me set the stage for you. Right now, we're about to let Sherry Berry, which she always have an intelligent point of view when she's having a conversation, and she always want to build up conversations. Go ahead, Sherry Berry. What's your thought?
Okay, since you want to build me up like you want to make fun of me, nigga, I ain't no bitch to make fun of. Get your shit together. But what I was trying to say was, black men do And I understand that, but at the same time, y'all act like y'all don't understand our struggle. Black women go through struggles too. We been through struggles. Y'all look at us like we worked and had. No, we was nannies, mammies, and all that shit. I don't like when bitches, and I call all you motherfucking bitches in the chat. Let me start a fight right now. If you call another woman a mammy, that's disrespectful to your ancestors. You raggedy ass bitch. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your ancestors. Now I'm gonna cut that loose. Now let's get back to what you trying to play with me, Sharon.
What? Sherry. Absolutely not. I
No,
am not.
I got a husband. He's been here since I was a little kid. See, it wasn't forced with two billy goats like Trigger might tell you. It was
What got to do with this, Sherry? He not here. He's not
here.
here.
Yeah, but you do that with your channel, because Trigger Mike can come over and say, put women in bondage so they coochies up. The bitches are hard.
What the heck, Sherry? Okay, everybody.
That's what it sounds like to me, Sharon. I'm sorry, I apologize, but I be like, what the fuck are y'all on? Y'all are Americans, not Africans.
Okay,
Mary, do you know why your skin is so beautiful and so brown?
Why is it so
Do
beautiful?
you know why?
Flattery gets you everywhere, Sherry. Flattery gets you everywhere.
He was always here.
Wow. So we are going to set up a water fund for Miss Sherry Berry. Everybody sent 99 cents for Sherry Berry's water. We need to get her some water ASAP. 99 cents so we can make sure we get Sherry Berry some water. We all been here before.
Hey, Sharon. I'm sorry, Sharon. The most important thing in Heaton's Queen situation is that they did stay together, right? When you first get married, we have this conversation all the time. When that storm comes, a lot of times people don't figure it out. They get frustrated and they get divorced. So that's why you need to weather that storm a little bit, try to figure it out, have that conversation. I know sometimes it's hard for people to have that conversation. That's the reason why people might leave. But the most important thing for her is, even though, like I said, I didn't think her leaving for 4 hours was the right situation, but at least she always came back, and then eventually they figured it out. So like I said, my way of solving the problem might be different from how she solved the problem. But the most important thing is that they were able to solve it and they stayed together. They stayed together and solved it, compared to like, I'm filing for divorce. That's the most important thing.
That's right. So here's the thing for me though, right? So I don't agree with that. Like at the end of the day, if she would have went and filed for divorce, her life wouldn't be no worse. She wouldn't be it wouldn't make it okay. If you're a victim of domestic violence and you choose to stay and things work out for the better, that's okay. But I don't think it's a celebration to say you stuck through the domestic violence. You stuck through the physical and the verbal abuse. And since you stuck it out, you were rewarded in the end with not getting your ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that, bro. Like it's a fine line there, I think that we got to play with this conversation, because and I'm not saying you're doing this at all, but it do sound like at some point it becomes stay with an abusive man.
Oh,
right.
And
that's
HQ, was there physical abuse?
No, there was not physical.
Okay, so in HQ situation, there wasn't any physical abuse.
But it's
so like me personally,
women don't physically abuse men either, but they verbal as hell though, big dog.
I understand. So when it comes to physical abuse, I say get away. Yes, that's something we should never argue about. If somebody's physically abusing somebody, get the hell out of there.
But you see how I say that I was not a good wife. You see, when I say that I was not tapped into my marriage the way you're supposed to be tapped into communication with your spouse. This is why I presented the scenario for people who decide they want to get married and say, hey, there's communication is very important, most important. These are things that you have to cultivate in.
Well, you stop that bitch from lying because that bitch is lying.
Whoa,
She's an older bitch that got the bitch.
What the fuck is?
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling.
What in the fuck is going on?
Yeah. But I was saying that's why I said that I knew that I was not the best wife because I did not commit. I mean, I did not communicate. I did not, do the things that you should do to work out a marriage. I'm not saying people stay because you're being verbally abused. I'm not advocating that at all. I'm saying if you want to say verbal abuse, okay, well then we have verbal abuse. I stayed because of it was verbal abuse, but I stayed knowing that I was going to commit to this marriage, and I knew we could change or turn it around once I started going and leaving.
No, that's an utter miserable ass bitch.
Sure, please do.
Yeah. Sorry.
Like Jesus.
Just on a technical point, she's actually telling you what actually happened in her life. There's no way she can be lying. You might disagree with her, but she's just telling you what she did in her situation. That's not lying. You know,
right?
I mean?
I'm not saying it was correct. There could have been better scenarios. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there can be better scenarios. I'm saying this is the way I solve the problem. I'm saying all ways of solving the problem could be wrong or they could be right. I'm saying this is the way that I did it because I wanted the commitment, because I wanted to stay married, because I knew that he was a good man. Regardless of what this rah, I knew he was a good man. So I decided I was going to do this and stick, not go out and look for another man, not go out and do this. No, I was committed to what I was committed to, regardless of whether it was verbal abuse or not. And people do it every day. I'm not saying I'm unique. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying this is what Heathen Queen did. And Heathen Queen stayed married and wanted to be married and wanted to be committed. That's all I'm saying. There's issues and problems in marriage, but you don't just walk out. I'm not saying because of verbal abuse or anything. I'm just saying sometimes things come along that are hard, that you have to work through, and you may be successful at it and you may be not, but that's no reason to quit right off the bat.
Can I say this? Hey, big dog, on the cool, I think what we overlooking is on a large majority side of the balance, big dog, or the balance beam. She doing exactly what we hear these people ask for every day. See, on a majority scale, majority women would have walked out of their marriage at that point, big dog. And we campaigning every day for women to stay behind miscellaneous things. You understand what I'm saying? Stop walking out behind miscellaneous things. You understand what I'm saying? So she basically done what we've been asking. You get what I'm saying? She's a prime example of going through and staying down for the goddamn bigger cause. Now, verbal abuse comes from both sides, in my opinion, and mostly from the woman's side. You understand what I'm saying? But if as men we gonna receive that as abuse, right? When it comes from the woman towards us, then we have to see it as abuse when it's being done from the man toward the woman. You see what I'm saying?
You recognize that I said at the beginning that
I'm on your side, my girl. I'm with you. Yeah, I understand everything you're saying.
Yeah, we understand that you said that you was not such a great wife in the very beginning.
No. I'm saying at the beginning, I was doing the arguing, the back and forth with them. And then I realized.
I understand all that. Yeah, but if we could all be honest, if we all was in relationships as teenagers and goddamn
Right, we gotta learn to be better. Right,
then we understand that goddamn me, those relationships have a lot of goddamn me toxic shit going on in them, and there's a lot of growing pains and shit you got to work through in those relationships. That's how you get to those 30 and 40 years of marriage and togetherness.
We're not gonna say work. We're gonna say put effort. We're gonna say put effort into making a relationship work, not work.
Can I say something, HG, right quick? I keep hearing this, fam, and I heard somebody else allude to it earlier, so now I'll be the second person to say it. Listen, please stop holding yourself accountable like this. Like there's a certain point where I think what you're doing is like kicking yourself because he's not here anymore. And I don't think if those 30 years were good, fam, you got to lead with those as being good and kind of keep your mind on that part of it, because you're beating yourself up for nothing. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you know what I mean, you did stay in a marriage for 30 years that has to be something to be proud of. But when I hear you talk today, you're regretful of some of the things that you did, and I'm pretty sure it's because he's not here to say it or not here to hear it and whatnot. But you got to let that part of it go, fam, and be happy and proud of being what you are, which is the wife that was there for 30 years, seen it all and the ups and the downs and whatnot. And you here today with the ability to give that advice. You know what I'm saying? It's not, for me, I've heard you say you weren't a good wife, maybe too much. That's just me.
Right. You're right.
Yeah.
I thank you for that.
Yeah, I think some people are in love with the idea of being in love, like that idea of marriage or happily ever after. You know what I'm saying? Finding the one, all of those type of fairy tale, fantasy things. And you saying it's not work, it's effort. But honestly, you have to want to put in that work every day. You choose each other every day for the rest of y'all lives.
So the reason why I'm not using the word work, the word work means that you have to do it regardless of what, and effort means that you
do have to do it though.
You are determined and you are willing to attempt to do something. You are.
No, I'm saying once you sign up, you do have to do
work.
It,
means that you have to do it. Effort means that you are consciously moving forward. It's a big difference between work and effort. Huge difference.
Well,
you can use both words. It really doesn't. It's not really a big deal.
Absolutely not. It
work,
is a big deal.
I use work all the time. Nothing's wrong with using work.
It's everything.
It is work.
The word.
But work, you can go to work and do your job damn near with your eyes closed, big dog.
Right.
But you can't do marriage with your eyes closed.
Come on.
Nah. They say if you find something you like, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly. So that's why we cannot use the word work.
I agree with using the word work, Sharon, and here's why. Because I'm not saying working a job, but in terms of the process of trying to make something beneficial to you and someone else, yeah, dog, that's going to take work, because I'll never completely know and understand her without dealing with her. Nigga, that's work.
So the reason why I don't want to use the word work is because the word work means a task undertaken or something that you have to do. Right, that's why I don't want to use that word work, because it's not. It doesn't. It takes out the fact that I want to be with the person and the person want to be with me, and that's why I use the word effort, because effort means to vigorously and determined attempt. So I want somebody that's with me that is going to be having effort to it, that has vigorous, determined attempt to build this relationship, not somebody that's just with me because they have to. I want that person to choose me, and I choose them. So that's why I don't like the word and the psychology and
Sharon being difficult. This is semantics and Sharon being difficult and just want to argue over nothing. Gotcha.
Not really semantic, though.
Nah, you gotta use both of them actually.
No, you're really right. Sharon really right though.
Like if you come to work and do nothing,
come on, Taz. Think about it, big dog. I know you know he right. Think about it for a minute, Taz.
The definition he given for work for effort is what I'm defining as work, though. So you know what I'm saying? It's just a language barrier. It's no different because
so you using semantics, but Sharon's not though. Because if you're defining work the way he's defining effort, then you're the one who using the semantics at that moment. Because shit, you can't make them mean the same shit. You see what I'm saying?
But you can use the word in the definition for each.
So
yeah.
You can use the word work in the definition for effort. You can use effort in the definition for work.
No, because
No, you can't. That's what I'm saying. You can't do that.
you can't. So the reason why is because effort means that you want to do it. You want the person in it, and work is just I have to do it. I'm just do this, and it is what the person.
Hey, Sharon.
That means if we saying that work is in a marriage, that means you can marry anybody as long as you're willing to do the work. Correct?
Exactly.
No, that's not true.
You can.
You cannot.
Yes, you can. If y'all both want to make it work,
just marry anybody and make the marriage right. Go ahead, Wahad, you can jump in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I can solve this. Sharon has given his definition and why he prefers one over the other. The easiest thing to do would just be agree on one definition. You don't have to agree with the definition, but just use one in the conversation. Then it keeps it's just simpler, that's all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so my definition of effort means a vigorous, determined attempt.
Right. So what would effortless be?
Effortless? A manner requiring no physical or mental exertion.
Right, which would be what? Work, nigga.
No, absolutely no. Work is is completely opposite of effortlessly. Stop.
Yeah. Once you start talking about exerting, dog, that's work, man.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on.
That's effort, big dog.
And Sharon, if we want to use Sharon's definition of work, in my life, my plan was when I got married, this is gonna be for life. So I need this thing. I need to make this thing happen. So I'm gonna do whatever definition you want to use. Yeah, I'm with it. So I need this to work. I need this. I need to handle whatever I need to handle in order for this thing to be successful.
But
so I'll use your definition.
You want marriage to look at as a task to be undertaken, something that you have to do.
Yes, I have to make my marriage work.
You'd rather use that. You'd rather use that definition.
Yes, I don't care. You can use any definition of work.
You have to care about words. Words mean something.
And I'm gonna use any definition with you. I have to make my marriage work. I don't care what y'all say. I'm not getting divorced like a lot of these Negroes.
Yeah, that's the task.
Use whatever definition of work you want. Apply to my marriage. I'm gonna do what it takes as a husband, as the leader of this family, to make this sucker work.
Hey, listen. How you doing? All I'm saying is this: if you want to look at it like that, that's fine. It sounds like to me that you do not love anybody within your household because you just.
Sharon, that's some shit you gotta teach on English Thursday, big dog. That's for English Thursday. That's for English Day Thursday.
What I'm saying is this: all you saying that they are a task, and you doing it because you have to do it, and it doesn't matter if it was your wife or another woman. It didn't matter who she was. Because all it is a task, and you just accomplish the task. These are the words that we are using, and this is why a lot of women run away from the word marriage.
Language class,
it's just a job, and they don't have nothing to do with anything else besides this is my duty, and that is it. That's the problem. Go ahead, Wildheart.
Yeah. Plus, when you tell me you got to make your marriage work, sometimes it's not your choice. There are two people in a marriage. If the woman wants to leave you, and you have to make the marriage work, you don't get a choice about it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That is a great point. Just because that's why I want to use the word effort, because it does. No matter how much effort you put in it, and you are determined for attempt to build a successful relationship, the other person that doesn't give you 100% guarantee, and that's why I like to use the word effort, because people can have the same effort into something, but it doesn't mean we all gonna get the same results.
That's the reason why I say I'm gonna do my part. Yes, a woman, no matter what a man does, the woman could decide to leave. I'm doing my part, right? She also has to do her part in order for it to work.
Let's not move it forward because you're not understanding what I'm saying. Yeah, go ahead, Taz.
So here's the thing, though, fam. What it sounds like you're using is a noun. I don't hear the because work is a verb. The word you're using is a noun. And I do think what we're talking about is an action. You have to put forth an action.
Okay, so perfect.
That's
so
correct.
we use work as a verb, all right, so to be engaged in physical or mental activity in order to achieve results and do work. That's the verb sense of it. or a machine operate.
Wait, say it again. Wait, hold on. You just that was the verb definition of effort.
Work.
Okay, right. So is there a verb definition of effort?
Let's check. Let me see if it is one. It's a good question.
Yeah. So
that is a good question. Let's see. No.
Nah, because it's not an action.
Yeah, effort is a noun.
Not an action.
Effortless is an action.
No, effort is a noun. I'm looking at it. I
had to look. Effort is a noun.
It felt me. I'm not gonna lie, Taz. It felt me up a little bit when you said that because I always thought of effort as a action. But no, it's a noun. It's a noun.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I'm sitting here just thinking. I would have thought it was a verb, an action verb, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna play with the words, let's play with them, fam. What Sharon is saying is a person, place, or thing, not an action.
Okay. Effortless will be an action, though.
Well, we're not talking about the word effortless, so it doesn't make sense to even look.
We're talking about the word effort. Yeah, the root word. It's a noun.
I gotta think about it a little bit more, but
Sharon, just say you was wrong, bro. Just
no, I'm saying like the way how we use it. I still not.
You know, Sharon is never wrong. He got the solutions.
No, because now we going black.
Why does it have to be an action though?
Right, because that's the thing that I'm minding out in my mind, right? Because it is a person, place, a thing. So
why does it have to be an action, big dog?
Because I want my person to put effort, right? So
because he's saying put effort.
It's very. I mean, I think it's a very important part to add in when we use it.
Hold on.
Explain it. I apologize. Go ahead.
Well, the reason I'm saying it would have to be a verb is because the verb would denote an action. If we just throwing a word around that doesn't mean an action, it doesn't mean you're putting forth effort. It just means that the effort is there, so to speak. But putting forth effort is work. And so for me, the verb version of effort, which doesn't exist, but you're using, would be work. Because I'm just trying to figure out where else effort if we're just using the textbook definition.
But listen, big dog, how can you use the motherfucker in a context that don't exist? How can you be? I mean, that makes no sense to me, that part.
Because since it's announced, so that means once we put it into,
I don't get why it has to be a verb or why it has to make an action. That's what I don't understand.
Because once we put the word in play, then it turns into like said action. My wife put effort into moving the relation forward. I can't use it in that sense, and so therefore that means she is doing something with determined attempt.
So are we saying that effort is involved in work?
So no, what we're saying is just the way how we use it. Since we're going by definition, we got to define how we using it. Is what Taz is saying. That's all. It's not even really an argument. He's just making sure that we're using everything in proper context. Since we are using the exact definition of these words, that's all. It's not even really an argument. We just building. To be honest with you.
But I don't know if we were we speaking in action.
Right. Yes.
Right. Because
put forth effort. So we definitely speaking in action. You want a result from the effort, right?
So effort is a part of work.
Not necessarily.
I would say it's a part of success. I would say work, but I would say it's a part of success. Go ahead, Wild.
Yeah, but what I was saying before is once you give the definition of what you mean by the word no longer matters. Once you know what Sharon means by the word, what he's using, the actual word doesn't matter because you know what he means by it.
That is very good, bro.
It means work. Right.
I disagree with the word work. Let me look at the word work in verb version again.
He means work. You know what I'm saying? That's what we gotta agree on.
I'll do that. Be engaged in physical or mental activity in order to achieve a result. Do work.
Okay, so for example, like if we use work in a relationship context, it's gonna take some physical and some mental to get that shit to work. It's going to take physical and mental effort to get where you want to get to. I don't see how you can take work out of the equation.
Work is a interesting word, and also you could put it as a machine. So that machine works.
It is quite common for people to say you got to work at a relationship.
Yeah, they use it often.
But that's kind of a common phrase. So yeah,
even though I think it's the wrong phrase. God damn it. Yeah. I'm sticking to my guns.
I don't even think you're wrong though for the pushback. I'm just giving you a little hell, but I do think contextually when you start aligning it with the job, and I've heard a lot of people say, well, when you go to work, you don't talk to your boss like that, and you know what I'm saying, that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that it's been aligned in that way a lot. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's really where I'm coming from, is the way how it's perceived. Man, that's good. That's why I enjoy having intellectual conversations, having great, real genuine pushback. Because that's what this was, right? That was genuine pushback, not trying to prove me wrong or I'm trying to prove y'all wrong. We just going with our minds and challenging each other's thought patterns and pushing the limit of definitions. That's awesome, in my opinion.
Or no ad hominems.
No ad hominems. Yes, perfect.
I like when you realize that you could have been wrong and you took a minute to think about it. That shows like intellectual, you know, like
we take time to mind these things out. So we can just get better. We can just get better communication with people, because way too many people look at things in the wrong context of what we are actually communicating. It's a problem with that. We need to get to better and more understanding on these panels. Like way too many times nobody even recognize that. Yeah, I could be wrong. They'll just move the conversation forward. All right, so then what about this? And then you give them an answer. Oh, wait, hold on, but what about this part of it? Like, bro, which part we're gonna have to get to some point where we say I agree or I disagree, so we can move the conversation forward. Like shit. And I really enjoyed this a lot. But I gotta get ready to do some work. I want to appreciate everybody for coming through and hanging out with your boy. And you know, we do this every day at around 9 a.m. ish, roughly. We the solution-based gang. We here to rebel against remedial rhetoric. As you see, you got to substantiate your point of view. We get down to definitions. If you want to get black and white, we have no problem with it whatsoever. So everybody, if you want to have a long-lasting relationship, whether if it's on papers or not, you got to put some effort into it.
But Sharon,
there you go again. Sharon gotta be Sharon.
Are you getting ready for work or are you getting ready for effort? That's the question.
Good one. Hey, that's a good one.
Hey, Sharon.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to add a little bit to the conversation you had. Like I said 3 days ago, because I couldn't come on the panel. When it came to like you know, like should you bring your your stress home or whatever like that.
Oh, the decompression.
Yeah, decompression. Yeah, in my situation, like work really doesn't bother me like that, so I don't really bring it home. But when it comes to my wife, it does stress her out a lot of times. You know, like I already told you, she's an OBGYN, so she has a very stressful job. So there are times she would call me while she's on her lunch break, and there are times where she even call me when she's driving home. You know, and I would tell her, and she would tell me what happened that day, and I would tell her, hey, when you come home, don't worry about the kids. Go take a shower. If you want to go to bed, go to bed. You know, so I help her decompress while she's on driving home. You know, so I know I know you guys was having a conversation. Okay, should your significant other help you? And like I said, for each its own. If you don't need your wife or your husband to help you, that's fine by me. But in my situation, we do help each other. Like when I have like family issues, like outside family issues, I come to my wife and talk about it. I even go to other friends and talk about it. That helps me decompress. So, you know, whatever works for you. There's really a lot of times when we have these marriage conversations or relationships conversations, a lot of times there's no one right answer, right? Whatever works for you in your situation, you know, God bless. So that's all I got to say.
So the only difference with what you're saying is that they didn't use the word decompress the way how you using it. You actually using the word decompression, you adding your wife into the decompression. You
Absolutely.
have conversation with her and she's having conversation with you. What we was having a conversation at decompression is that you walk through the house and you still mad because somebody says something to you and now you bring it home the way how HQ husband was doing in his house. So his version of decompression was leave me the fuck alone. I've been had a stressful day. And that shit precipitate, and then it keeps going on for like 2 years until eventually somebody have a communication, and then now he doesn't do it anymore. So no, you need to, if you have a problem at work, that should need to stay at fucking work and not come through the door.
And that's the reason why I said my wife will call me on the phone while she's driving home. So when she come through the door, she's already straight because we already had that 15-20 minute conversation already. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I helped her decompress on her way home, or even when she was on her lunch break.
So therefore,
I say this too though, fam. On some real shit though, you got to have a wife that's strong enough to check your ass too though when you out of pocket, man. Like sometimes you do need to decompress, and maybe you're decompressing at the wrong or on the wrong person, and she need to be able to say, "Hey, dog, you need to pipe this shit down, son, dog. You do know who you talking to, right? Like I ain't do it. You got your wife got to at least be. You know what I mean, she got to be in position to say that."
Correct. That's
I totally understand that.
That's what. So Ronald, that's what the real conversation was like. You cannot bring that shit to your house because nobody in your household did that to you.
Yeah, when I say decompress, I don't mean like she's driving home and she's cussing me out. She's telling me what stressful happened that day. So by the time she reached home, she's good. So I hope you didn't think when I was talking about that like she was cussing me out or I'm cussing her out. No, I didn't mean that. I mean we're having the conversation so that she'll be straight.
So no, what you missing is that in the decompressing conversation that we was having, what they were saying is that once they walk through the door, they don't want to talk to their woman. They don't want to talk to the kids. They want to go in these little mutual corner, smoke a blunt, drink some beer, and decompress while in the house for an hour. But what we're saying is like, no, that decompression needs to happen before you walk into the house because you brought all that stress within your household. Is the problem. So when you walk in a house, you need to be 100% with your family. It's family time, wife time, kids time. They want to run to daddy. Hey, daddy, You can't be like, hey, man, I had a hard day, little baby girl. Psh, get out of here. No, that shit got to be settled before. You cannot bring the reason why you have to take off your helmet. The reason why the whole thing of taking off a hat inside of a house is because it stems from war. Take off your helmet so you don't bring war into your house. And that's where it comes from. Take your hat off. And the same thing as this decompression shit. Leave whatever happened to you at work. At work. You are home now. Nobody in that household deserves to be taken out. You cannot take your frustration and somehow, I need an hour now. So now work extended from 8 hours plus your hour drive, and now you need an hour at home. So now this whole fucking work day is 10 hours now instead of it being 8 hours how it's supposed to be. That's a problem. That's a you problem, not your family.
Sharon, in this, like I said before, in this situation, there's no right answer. You got to know who you're dealing with.
I just gave you the right answer.
No, Sharon, come on, you got to stop this, man. Right? Like I said, if we're trying to do solutions and we as married men, right, that's why we scare people off of marriage, right? If the person that you are married to needs a half an hour, give them that half an hour. If everybody's not built like you, Sharon, if you don't need that half an hour, then God bless. If somebody needs a half an hour to decompress when they come home, just leave me alone. Let me take my shower. Let me relax. Then you can tell me what's going on.
No,
okay?
Hold on.
Give them that time.
Hold on. You just told me. All right, let's go. Now we got to rewind shit back. You just told me marriage is fucking work. So let's go with your premise because that's what you believe. That's your philosophy. It ain't mine, but that's yours. It's work. So that means when you fucking clock in, we meaning you walk through that fucking door, I don't give a fuck about what you did before. You are clocked in for life. So you don't get the chance to clock out and say, I need a half an hour. Absolutely not. You can't have it both ways. Either it's fucking work and you don't get the clock out. You're going to have to deal with
Sharon,
it.
Make a poll. Sharon, make a poll.
That is the definition of work that you have to do.
Sharon, make a poll.
That you have to do it. So therefore, I don't want to hear nothing about no decompression when you walk through that door. Absolutely not.
Sharon, make a poll.
Both ways.
Sharon, make a poll. Are you okay with allowing your significant other to get a half an hour to decompress? Or as soon as they walk through the door, they got to do the work inside also. Make a poll, something like that. Is it okay to give your significant other a half an hour to decompress?
See again.
See what it says.
Hold on. So there's a problem with these conversations. Nobody want to say, you know what? I didn't even think about it that way. You didn't concede or refute the threat. You just moved the shit along. No,
them motherfuckers in the chat ain't married.
Before
we got sugar bomb in the chat.
A lot of what
ratchet as hell.
Verbal abuse and disrespect. What I'm saying is this: my wife don't tell me fuck your decompression if I don't come in with respect, fam. Like it's gonna need a whole nother moment to decompress from the shit she gonna be on. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I get Ronald's point, but there's also a point where it's like, bro, if you want her to listen to you, you can't come in like, I need 30 minutes. Leave me alone. Shut up. Because then that's a whole nother moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's some nuance in what you're saying, Ronald. I don't think you're wrong, but I think it's some nuance there. Because you know what I'm saying? You want that 30 minutes, but you're going to have to ask for that 30 minutes kind of respectfully. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna,
I understand that.
I need 30 minutes. Leave me the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason why a successful marriage, it takes time. Eventually, once you get to know that significant other, nobody have to say anything anymore. You know, okay, when my husband come home, he needs 30 minutes, or when my wife come home, she needs 30 minutes. So it won't have to be said anymore. You know, that's how successful marriages work. You go through that storm, you have that conversation, you figure it out, then eventually you don't have to speak about it anymore. That person automatically is going to get that 30 minutes.
And I think we got to the reason why men of old went off to the bar before they came home. I think.
God damn.
That could solve all the issues.
So Ronald, so I think this is why what you are saying is wrong, and this is why we got to correct it and have these good conversations, because what you are saying, what you don't realize is that you are promoting negative actions within a marriage, and you don't even realize it.
How is that negative? I don't get it. How's that negative?
Taz gave you an example why it could be deemed negative. I gave you a reason why it could be negative, and Omni just gave you a reason why it could be negative. This is why the men before us used to go to the bar and get plastered drunk before they walked in the house. That is a communication problem. The way how Taz explained it, I walk in the house, I'm upset, and every time now, all of a sudden, it's going to produce that you always going to need a half an hour extra when you come in the house. Don't talk to me. No, everybody leave me alone. And what that breeds is, this is the thing that you are not paying attention to. When you walk through the house every single day, you need a half an hour to an hour, because every few minutes is going to be different. Some are going to need 2 hours, some are going to need 3. So the problem is that when you promote that, now this woman, she's going to try to fix that and correct that. Hey, babe, I do not like when you come home and you need an hour to yourself every single day. Maybe it's time for you to change jobs, is the conversation that's going to really happen in real life, because you are not looking at the progression of what's going to happen within a relationship. And that's the real problem. So people need to stop code switching so they could be who they are. So whenever something happens at work, it stays there, because your work should not travel home with you. I'm sorry to tell you that.
Sharon, that's why I tell you there's no right.
All right, before you move, what I said, do you agree with what I said, or you disagree with what I said?
I disagree with what you said, because you saying what I'm saying is wrong, and what I'm telling you is you got to get out the habit that your way is right. I told you there is no right answer in this situation. With a man and a wife, you got to do what's best for you. If I tell my wife I need a half an hour, or if my wife tells me she needs a half an hour, right? You have to be able to understand it, right? Everybody's different. Everybody's marriage is different, right?
So let me understand this right. So you have at least 3 people on panel that disagree with what you're saying.
It's okay.
And you're saying that we are all wrong and yours is correct.
I'm not saying you guys are wrong. What I'm saying is there's different ways to do it, right?
No, hold on, Ron. First of all, I never said you was wrong. I gave you a better version of how to move forward. I didn't say your way was wrong, because I already agreed. The problem is you are conflating 2 different things. You're conflating your wife calling you on the phone on the way home and decompress. You not understand that you are part of the decompression. What you are saying is separate your woman and your family from your decompression. This is a part that you are missing. And what we are saying is that, no, you got to be together as a family unit. So the way how you doing it with y'all having phone calls and you talk about it, that is not really decompression. That's you communicating with your woman. But what you are telling people to do is to detach themselves from family. Give me a minute. I don't want to talk to y'all. I got to do whatever I have to do on the back end by myself. Leave y'all, alienate y'all out of this. And now that brings in a blockage of communication is the issue with how you're expressing it. And this is what you're not recognizing. I'm doing my best for you to get it. I want to bring Wild Heart in it as well. While you think about what you did, you are in detention. Go ahead, Wild Heart.
Yeah, I actually was going to stick up for Ronald in that I think different people need different things. Different things work for different people. So I kind of agree with Ronald on that. But what you just said makes sense as well. So, which kind of invalidates my point. So I'll shush. But like I said, there's no right way. It's just what works for you. Do you know what I mean?
All right. Okay. Let me give you a scenario. Right. Okay. I had a hard day's work. Right. I come home. My wife is already home. I give her a hug and a kiss. I see the kids. Hi, kids. I go take my shower. Then after my shower, I decide, okay, let me go use the computer for like about 15 minutes. All right. That time took a half an hour. Then I come back. Then my wife would say, hey, this bill came or something like that. Right. Everybody that comes home, they don't want to be thrown in the face. Hey, this happened today. This bill came. This bill is due. All right. Sometimes people don't want that stress that's hit them in the face. The stress of home that's hit in the face. So if that person needs a half an hour, let them take their shower, let them read their newspaper or do whatever you want to do. Then eventually you tell them, hey, this happened today, or you throw another stressful situation at them. It's okay. If, like I said, Sharon, if you don't need that, if you're not built like that, that is good, right? Everybody's marriage is different. If somebody knows, so what I want people to get out of this is there's not only one way to do something. Right? If you meet somebody and they say, I need a half an hour, right? Give them that half an hour, right? If that person doesn't need it, as soon as they come home, you could just tell them, hey, this bill is due, and stuff like that. Then, that's okay also, right? There's no one right way to this. That's one thing we have to, we come on these panels and expect everything to be one way.
Now I'm going to say you're wrong. But I want to say this as well.
Sharon's gonna be Sharon, man.
Hey, do y'all think I'm autistic on the spectrum? Because my beautiful friend Joker said I am on the spectrum and I'm autistic. God damn it. Shit.
I didn't know if she was talking about you or Ron. I didn't know who that was for.
What you think, Ami? Am I on the spectrum?
I think we all on the spectrum a little bit.
Yeah. I think literally everybody is on the spectrum.
Absolutely not. Everybody's not on the spectrum.
Everybody's on the spectrum.
I'm actually trying at the moment to find out whether I'm autistic or not. I went to the doctors, but they said it could take up to 3 years just to diagnose it. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being autistic. It's just a different way of thinking.
Right. She never said was anything wrong with it. She just said I'm on the spectrum. That's all. But the fact of the matter, what I'm saying is this: that decompression is a solo act, and what I'm saying is that we need to, when we walk through the house and we are in this family, that we need to always be 100% available for our family, and we shouldn't have times where I'm not available and all this other BS that we talk about. If you're talking about I'm angry at something, then yes, you have a right to be angered and deal with your anger, but it should be reflected on the time. When I walk through that goddamn door and you are met with love, no man should be like, no, kids, I need a half an hour, leave me alone. That's insane for you to promote that kind of rhetoric. It's remedial at best.
Or just another solution could be just when you get home, just park in the driveway and just quietly sob to yourself for half an hour before you walk through the door. That's all.
I didn't say don't hug your kids. In my scenario, I said you hug, you give your wife a hug and a kiss, give the kids a hug and a kiss, then you go take your shower and take your little break for half an hour. Right? No. So I didn't say I don't want to see the wife, I don't want to see the kids, or I need to use the back door or something like that. No, you still see them, you greet them, then you go take your little break that you need. Nothing's wrong with that. It all depends on that person. That's if you know how your wife, if you know what it takes to make your wife happy, or a woman, if you know what it takes to make your husband happy, do it. That's the reason why that's how marriage works, right? But if somebody tells you, oh, I need a half an hour, in your mind, oh no, you don't need a half an hour. That means you don't love me no more.
Do you believe that people can learn behaviors?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So now, if you are teaching yourself that every day when you walk in the house, you need a half an hour, you don't think that's a learned behavior?
Sure. Why not?
All right. So why not unlearn it? It's a bad behavior to learn.
Because
so if you could train yourself to learn better behaviors, that's going to just make you a better human being. It's going to make you a better husband. It's going to make you a better father. So why are we telling people to do things that is not good for the family? This is what I'm trying to explain. I don't know why people don't understand it. Stop promoting things that is bad for the family. It is not
bad for the family.
You need to learn how to work through your shit. You're a grown-ass human being. Work through your shit before you get through the goddamn.
That's not bad for your family.
War.
How's that bad for your family if you
because you are not being 100% there for your family at the time. You always need a half an hour. You just said not too long ago that you cannot get back time. So you are taking a half an hour away from your family, being 100% you every time you do that every single day. That's going to add up to years. That's going to add up to decades if you do it on a long period of time. So stop taking time away from your family because you do not want to deal with whatever personal thing that you have at home. If time actually means that much to you, like how you said earlier, because you just got on this woman for leaving the household and said, don't you want that time back? So don't you want your time back every half an hour? Yes.
But that person,
to do it.
No, it's different. That's a whole different situation. I told her in her situation, was it possible for her to go on the other side of the home, right? When you leave, that could be considered abandonment depending on the person.
Jesus
so
Christ.
He didn't leave.
Ronald, you are promoting the same thing that she did.
No, it's different. She left the house. I'm in the house. I'm taking a shower, reading my paper just for a half an hour, right?
That's insane.
Like I said,
you don't realize the correlation.
you don't get it, man.
To what you were saying, what you said earlier, then I guess
it is not a bad thing, Sharon. You got to understand, your way is not the only way to do something, right?
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Great conversation, bro. I'm gonna go decompress from the latter end. And
I mean, am I wrong about what I was? Didn't he just tell that woman that she got to get her time back, and when she loved that time back, and now he's saying the opposite?
Indeed, that is what he said.
Yeah, but in her situation,
I'm gonna go decompress.
No problem.
In her situation, like I said, she left. She left the kids. The man came home from a hard day's work. He was upset for some reason, and she decided to go away for 4 hours. So now he had to go take care of the kids. He had to go feed the kids. So he went from like one job quickly back to another job, right? In my situation is different. I came home. If I need a half an hour, I go take my shower, read my papers or whatever. Then after you could tell me what went wrong today, like what bills are due or something like that. It's a whole different story. It's not a bad thing, right? It's the same thing with my wife, like I told you, right? If she had a hard day's work, sometimes she called me on the phone and I tell her, hey, when you come home, don't worry about anything. I got the kids, I got the food, everything, right? That's how you're supposed to help each other, right? So if me, like I said, this is not my situation, but if somebody needs a half an hour to decompress, right, to take away some stress, you as that significant other, let them have it. It is not a bad thing, and that's the reason why people run away from marriage, because we have all these conversations, right? And we make marriage look so difficult. Help that other person. If that person needs a half an hour, it is not a bad thing. All right, we gotta
help the person.
We don't want to make it look easy. Yeah, it is.
Look, you cannot help the other person if they excluded you out of the help. If you are decompressing, you need all this time alone. You are not a part of the help. I don't know.
A half an hour is not all this time, man. Come on, the half an hour. A half an hour is not a lot of time, right? And I said part of the half an hour was them taking a shower, right? You're making a big deal out of nothing.
No, you're not understanding the words that you're using.
You definitely need time to yourself.
Yeah, get them time to themselves. That's all I'm trying to say. If they need a half an hour, it's not a bad thing.
Decompression is not time to yourself. Decompression means that you are going to relieve pressure. That's what decompression means. Time time to yourself is time to yourself. Decompression means that you have pressure, so you got to release. What? Okay, so since you what?
So if part of decompression for them is okay, let me take my shower, read my papers, or go check my email, let them have it. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, that's
right?
not what.
That could be there. That could be there. That could be what decompression means for that person.
I have a problem with when y'all talk sometimes because y'all don't understand that words actually mean something, and y'all just talking to be talking, and y'all trying to make everything mean one thing. No, decompression got a set meaning. It means to relieve pressure.
Right.
So
that might be how that person relieves pressure.
Having time to yourself doesn't mean that you're relieving pressure. Having time to yourself is just you having time to yourself. It's not a negative thing, and but decompression is a negative thing. That's why you got to relieve the pressure, so you can get back into a positive state. That's what decompression is all about. So you can get back into who you are. We are not saying that, right? So when you come home, you are stressed. You're releasing stress. You're releasing pressure. Having time to yourself is just time to yourself. Those are two different
things. Sharon, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. That person could say, you know what?
The problem is that you want to combine two different things. That is all a part of it. It is all good. You want to, even though you cannot argue the actual definition, you just arguing your perception of the definition. Even though I clearly stated what you are doing with your wife, because you brought her into it as well, and what y'all do together. That is not my idea of decompression, because that's my idea. When I hear you say that, as y'all communicating, so you are involved in this so-called decompression, and that's the issue that you're really having, is because y'all have great communication and you bring in your communication style into the word decompression, and that is what the problem really is.
And Sharon, and what you're saying when it comes to your meaning of decompression, that person still, they walked into the house still stressed out from what happened to work, right? Am I correct?
No, so what I'm saying is kind of like what BJ Tight is saying, right? She's saying, Sharon, which is better, taking 20, 30 minutes every day, or staying gone all day once a week? So this is the issue, that what you are saying, you don't understand. You are taking, the way how you explaining it, you are taking yourself out of the family situation for that half an hour, 20 minutes every day, or once a week, once an hour. And that is the issue that I'm having with you. For some reason, you want to just argue that point, even though I think I said my point pretty very plainly, but
yeah, but like I said, Sharon,
you're into semantics right now, and you don't actually disagree with what I'm saying. So, but it's weird.
Sharon, like I said, what that person said was correct. Which one you rather? At least that person is in the house. But like I said, if they need a little time to themselves, give them. We have to. You know how everybody have their love language, right? You need to understand what that other person need, and sometimes in our marriage we get too selfish, right? Let that person.
I'm not going to disagree, but you're moving past what I'm saying, and it's fine. What I'm saying is that don't try to just. I don't know how far you're willing to be right. If you want to be right in the moment, I'll let you have it. Ronald is right. He is correct, because now you're just moving the goalpost to something else, and I'm probably going to agree with what you're moving it towards. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about a very specific thing, and I don't know why you're not understanding it, but I think because you just want to argue it. So
no, Sharon, I said you have to do what is best for your marriage. If your wife doesn't need a half an hour, that's good. If my wife needs a half an hour, I will give her that half an hour, right? There is no wrong or right in the situation. It depends on your person. And that's the reason why I really hate sometimes we have on these panels where we always think there's one way to be married, right? And if you're not doing that way, something's wrong with you, all right? You have to speak to your wife. The wife's supposed to speak to your husband. What would be best for you? What will help you to calm down after a long day's work? I need a half an hour. You need a half an hour? Yeah, don't put no bills in my face. Don't tell me what happened with the kids. Just give me a half an hour, and then after you could talk to me. Like, for example, if you're let's say if the husband comes in at 6 o'clock every day, and he says, give me that half an hour, at 6:30, you could tell me everything that happened that's wrong today. Tell me what happened to the kids. The kids missed the school bus. The kids got suspended from school, right? Tell me all that stuff at 6:30. But when I walk in at 6 o'clock, just give me a hug, right? Let me go take my shower and and relax a little bit. Then at 6:30, you can tell me all the troubles that happened that day. Nothing's wrong with that, right? So that wife shouldn't say, oh my, because my husband needs a half an hour, that means he doesn't love me. That means he doesn't care about the kids. Then all of a sudden we fighting for no reason. And like I said, that's the reason why these marriages fail, for all these little silly reasons, because we think there's always one way to do it. If that person could walk in at 6 o'clock and don't need a break, as soon as they walk in and say, okay, what troubles happened today? Or what if our kids got in a fight at school? One of our kids got expelled, right? That's well and good also, right? So we just got to talk to each other.
Here's the difference. Like, I'm able to communicate without putting some crazy metaphors behind it. And I mean, that's just the difference of how we communicate. I'm able to stick to the point. You got to put references in it. That's because your point is a little faulty, and it's fine with that. I have no problem with that. As long as we both are successful at it, that's what I'm asking. Go ahead, Eso. I'm listening.
Yeah, nah, I don't know if it's a right or wrong way to
right.
be married. You know what I'm saying? If y'all making it work for however many years, then y'all making it work however many years. If it's effortless and it's not even like you gotta make it work, so to speak, then that's all the more power to you. But like, you know what I'm saying, I think a lot of when we look on these panels, a lot of the keys will see right in front of us. You know what I'm saying? What's the key to being married for a long time? Separate rooms. You know what I mean? Having your own space. You know what I mean? A man cave or whatever. You know, you get
that was a perfect man. I wanted to end the conversation, but Eso brought up a good point. Very good. Thank you, Eso. Oh, excellent. What do you think about that, Ronald?
The man cave?
No, separate rooms.
No, I think that's stupid.
Thank you.
Why in the world would I get married?
No, stop. Absolutely not. No. You just said it's more than one way for a marriage to work. If that person needs to sleep alone, and because that's what they need to decompress, then guess what? They gotta decompress alone in their bed. You sleep in your goddamn
for 8 hours?
I sleep it. Yep, that's what you.
Nah, that's crazy.
No,
I didn't get married.
Crazy. You don't understand that. That's
I didn't get married to be alone.
What's wrong with that? You said 30 minutes. What's wrong with 8 hours?
Right.
Nah.
That's what that person needs. Hold on.
Nah.
Ronald, what you don't understand, what you were saying. This is the understanding.
Sharon, you've been kicking his ass this whole time. Why do you keep beating on this man like this?
No, you're wrong about that, big dog. What's up, big dog? I ain't seen this Fight Club, man. What you been doing, bro?
Say, go mouth. He done had enough. I'm picking him up and cam in.
Hey, Cody, man, I ain't seen this Fight Club. What you been doing?
This man head like that, man. Why are you doing this dude like that, big dog? God damn.
But yeah, if it like I said, my marriage, I need one room. I don't need 8 hours to decompress. I want to be able to roll over. My wife is there. So yeah, me personally, no, I would never do that, and I would never marry somebody that wants to do that. But if that works for somebody else's marriage, then that's y'all. But nah, not in my marriage. We need to be in the same room.
Thank you, Joker Bad. And maybe now Joker Bad would not say I'm on the spectrum anymore. But at the same time, I do process things that probably a little different than other people. I understand what they actually saying, and sometimes people do not understand what they are actually saying, which is a little weird to me sometimes, that he don't realize that he said that he contradicted himself twice in one episode without being able to substantiate the difference of or the nuances and why he contradicted himself. Because we do, as human beings, we do contradict ourselves sometimes. But I know the nuances of why I contradict. Like, I am a non-violent person. However, if you was to slap me, I'm going to punch you. So therefore, that is a contradiction. However, it is a nuance to that contradiction. And I know that it's a nuance to that contradiction, but somehow y'all people don't understand that y'all contradict yourselves. And it's perfectly fine. It is what it is. We all process information different, and you don't see any faults in the things that you said today. You don't see no contradictions in the words you used today. And it doesn't seem like you are going to, even when I know you had to hear it just now.
But yeah, I just disagree with the separate bedrooms. I think that's silly. But if somebody want to do it in their marriage, you could do it. But I think it's silly.
The problem is, Ronald, once you say that if you have a half an hour, you cannot say somebody else can't have a separate room. Whatever it is that they decide is decompression for themselves.
Yeah, like I said,
what it is. No, don't say yeah, like you said. So you know what I'm saying?
I
like
think
yes,
it's silly.
so I agree. I agree with verbal assassin. Yes, Sharon, you contradict yourself all the time. But the difference is that I know the nuances of why I contradict myself. Like I just gave you the example of I'm a non-violent person, but somebody put their hands on me, I would be very violent. So yes, that is literally a contradiction, but it's a contradiction that most people will understand and take as okay. Yeah, I could understand that. So the problem is most human beings are very contradicted.
Right.
We are.
Protect yourself at all times.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. And people try to act like human beings are black and white. We are not black and white. We have, for different reasons, for different people. Somebody else could say, what up, bitch ass nigga, and somebody else say, what up, bitch ass nigga, and two different responses are going to come out that same human being. That's just what it is. As contradictive as that sound, that's what it is.
Yeah, and Sharon, I mean, and this all goes back to when you first dating somebody, right? If me and a lady having a conversation and she wants to have separate bedrooms in our marriage and I want to have one bedroom, then I just won't date her. I'll find somebody else. You know, that's why we always have to have this conversation. So there'll be less of less fighting in your marriage. You know, even though fighting is going to come up, but yeah, that's separate bedrooms. Yeah, I would never do that.
Fine,
but all you got to do is
but you just
find somebody that does it, that's willing to do it.
The only problem is you just not realizing that's both the same. It is one and the same. Only difference is that you put in a shorter period of time on it. But at the end of the day, you cannot say how much time somebody need. Half an hour, 2 hours, 8 hours, sleep, whatever it is that they need. You cannot put a time frame on it. If I come home, I say, hey, babe, I'm tired and I fall asleep on the couch. And now that is my new habit that I fall asleep on the couch. Then she can't get mad, right? Because that's making me happy. But you're not understanding the
that's okay.
But you're not understand. But that's the same thing as separate beds.
No, that's different. You sleeping like you go to bed for that's about 8-9 hours. That's a whole different story. But like I said, that is not for me. It's one thing to come home,
Ronald.
And you
I don't think you're really
listening
to yourself. I think you're just talking at this point just to talk.
No, I'm not.
I promise you now.
That is different, man.
Okay,
that is different.
Okay, you just contradicted yourself again. So you say you're okay.
Lord.
You're not okay with separate beds, but you're okay with them sleeping on the couch every night. That's crazy.
No, if that person let's say the person coming at 6 o'clock, right? They're not gonna sleep on. They probably might sleep for about an hour on the couch.
Let me tell you how you know you're losing, right? Because you got to give me a scenario. I'm not giving.
I got to give you a scenario. Listen, because you mightn't be understanding what I'm trying to say, right? If somebody coming from a hard day's work, right? Like I said, 6 o'clock, right? And they just go on the couch. That might be for an hour, most for the most part, 2 hours, right? They not, then eventually they'll come to the bed in the nighttime, and we both, and they both sleep together in the same bed.
I think you hear what you want to hear, and it's fine. Because I'm having a conversation. I said a certain thing, and you are just saying what you want to say instead of actually having a conversation.
Yeah, but when it's like I said, when it's bedtime, we should have one bed.
Yeah. And so you heard that? He said, "Yeah." He just continued to talk about.
I can't do that. Yeah.
Nah.
One of my love languages is touch.
So that was crazy just now.
So Esto, you want separate beds? That's what you're saying?
He's saying though. He's saying all right, your decompressing can't interfere with me and with. I don't know. It's only one way. So it's only 30 minutes. She only get 30 minutes to decompress. That's it. 35 minutes. You going too far now?
No, it depends on what you have that conversation with that significant other, right? It's all about conversation. What will make that person. What would make that person help relieve that stress? And if they want 30 minutes, get them 30 minutes. If they want an hour, get them an hour. But but that scenario of sleeping in separate bedrooms, sleeping is usually, let's say 6 to 8 hours, right? That's a lot. In my situation, I want to be able to roll over and my wife is there, right? So I would not marry somebody that wants separate bedrooms. I would just tell her, hey, I think that's silly. Right? If for some reason, because I've heard about this also, if a man or wife needs separate bedrooms, then God bless them. That's their situation. That's not my situation. I still think it's silly, but if it works for them, if they makes their life better, that's okay. And I saw somebody was talking about snoring. there's things called Z Quiet and other things to help you to put in your mouth to have that person with the snoring so they don't make all that noise. So there are ways to work around it where you could both sleep in a bed together and one that person's not snoring up all over the place.
Hey, this doesn't work in my house at all. Me and my wife both tried this. That don't work. They'll come in and sniff it all like, Daddy, did you have
what you eat today? Was that sweet potato fries?
This did not work at all, Callie.
Good nose, little kid. Hey, yeah.
It's like, man, you had Mexican dad for lunch and you didn't tell me.
Hey, good.
Damn it, kid, put you leave me alone.
It's spicy in here. Nah. If you got kids, how you gonna tell them you need to decompress? Come on. I don't know about that.
Yeah, he tripping, but he just don't realize the faultiness in his thinking because he's only really thinking about his situation and how they moving happily, but he's not really thinking about the words that he's using, how it's going to affect other people. That's the issue that he having. So,
and Callie Bev just said that one of the things she used to do was go in the bathroom and just lock the door, just act like she want to use the bathroom. That way she kind of get away from the kids for a while. I think that's okay. So you think that's wrong? If she wants to, like, okay, just give me a chance, let me decompress. So she go in the bathroom, lock the bathroom. She tell the kids, hey, I gotta use the bathroom. Right? So is that wrong in your eyes? I think that's okay.
No, I'm saying, what if you sleep wild? Is it okay for them to have another bed? Or are you gonna have to get like 2 king beds, like somebody said in the chat?
They do got something called. They do have something called Alaskan King. I would suggest people look. It's expensive, but man, Alaskan King could hold 5 grown adults in the bed with no issue whatsoever. I'm talking about you still have space to stretch out. Alaskan King, beautiful bed. You could roll over like 3-4 times. The only problem is if you have a pee problem at night, you might have a difficult time when you sleep in the middle of the bed. Because you got to roll over like 2-3 times to get out. But
hey, Sharon, you didn't answer that question. Callie Bev said that the way one of the things that she does is she tells her kids she needs to use the bathroom, and she go in the bathroom and lock the door. So is that a bad thing? I think that's okay.
Yeah, but I also don't think that's decompression. That's her attempted to get some alone time.
That could be decompression also.
No, it's 2 different things. Jesus Christ, having alone time and decompression is 2 different things. Is all I'm trying to tell you.
Oh man. Yeah.
Always good to have a conversation with you. We extended it. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually y'all can send me a goddamn $1. Y'all was hanging out, we was having a good time talking about taking shit by ourselves and shit like that.
Yeah, check your cash out.
Yeah, man. Hey, Sharon, a good conversation, man. Yeah, I'm over by my mother-in-law's house, so I might need to go fix my marriage now since I've been out here with you all this time. Let me go fix my marriage.
No, all you gotta say was that you was in the car and you was decompressing and everything should be perfectly.
You need to go fix them goddamn talking points.
I'll tell my. What up, Cody?
Shout out to Eso. He said he sent me somebody for the water fund. Sherry Berry also said, "Here's my $2 for my 2 cents." And for and she also said another one saying, "Untrustworthy, is he married?" So she puts her own money to her own water fund. Shout out to everybody that came through. Appreciate everybody that sent me a single.
Hey, what's up, Cody? How you doing?
So thank you, everybody. Y'all. We got 76 watching. Please send a single $1 bill. That is awesome. If you can, that is appreciated. If you can't, it is understandable. But you need to hit the like button if that's the case.
All right, Sharon. Let me go save my marriage. I'll talk to you later. All right. Thanks for putting me up.
I'm glad I helped you decompress.
I'll tell my wife I was looking for solutions.
There we
solutions.
Go. There we go. That's what
all right. Take care.
We are the solution-based gang. We here to rebel against remedial rhetoric, and I believe we accomplished that today. Absolutely, we got down to some things. I did have, again, another successful show. Shout out to Sin. Shout out to Sin.
About to be a situation.
She said, "For detention, here's a 2 ball for your detention." God damn it. Thank y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all are really dope. I'm glad that we built this thing together, and we're gonna keep on soaring high, and we're gonna keep building this plane as we fly this Jones, and we're gonna keep building great content, great conversations. Also, I want to say that we built this whole 5 hours of conversation with not one video show, so that shows we are attempting to be intellectual as much as we possibly can and build off a conversation, build off the chat room, build off the panel. Y'all don't understand how much y'all mean to me. Thank you. Hopefully that means something to y'all as well. I'll see y'all later. Make sure you pick up a hoodie in the solution-based game. That's how you can help me out as well. So let's see. Are we with the likes? Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out. That's ridiculous. Hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate y'all. Later. I believe is there any of our people's who live? Let's see. Let's go. Who we gonna go bombard? Let's go see. Who else is on the damn lives? We got anybody else that's lit out there? We got Dara Long. He's live. Go check him out. He got a new channel. Chaotic, Easy, Israel Mills. I think that's about it. All right, dog. I'll see you. Oh, thank you, Sid 7. I appreciate you. So y'all heard. Go ahead, DB. Drop his channel in the chat. Make sure you know that we coming from the SBG over to the Simp Nation. Show that man some love. Oh, you at work? Oh, the AOC is sometime today as well. So Aaron O and Cheeky, they're about to go live sometime today, very shortly. Make sure we all go show them some love as well. We know they're gonna. Okay, God damn it. They home. Oh, shit. Huh? No, she's asleep. Indeed, degenerate. He's a mess.